Hey there, Knicks fans. The NBA season is back, and while teams continue to find their footing, our partners at FANATICS Sportsbook are already running championship plays. Bet with FANATICS and earn up to 10% fan cash on your bets, win or lose. So even if your bet misses, you're still scoring fan cash, which you can use on NBA gear, tickets, and exclusive FANATICS events. With fair play, if your player goes down injured in the first half, your bet stays live. Make the switch and get more ways to win with FANATICS Sportsbook. Winning, it's different here. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. It is your boy, Jonathan Macri, and I am here with the one, the only, the master of the X's and O's. I would think of some more platitudes, but I'm just so exuberant. I want to get talking about this game. So how would you say his name? Benjy Ritholtz. Hello, sir. How are you?
Howdy there, John. I'm doing great. What a fun game to watch along with you, with our watch-along friends as well. What a great performance in the second half. Can't wait to get into it.
If you would have asked me 30-ish minutes ago what kind of a postgame this was going to be, I would have had many guesses for you. This postgame that we're about to do would probably not have been one of them. Because the Knicks had I'll make sure I get this right, because they won by 23 points and they outscored by 15 in the fourth quarter. So a little bit of math tells me that they had an 8-point lead after the third quarter. Be careful out there, friends. I would have bet a good amount of money that this game was going to be a game in the last few minutes. Shout out to FANATICS Sportsbook. And we're sitting here talking about a 23-point win. And I am sure that the conversation, if we were to go tune into a Timberwolves postgame show, would be a lot about what the Timberwolves did not do to allow the Knicks to take such control of this game. But this is Knicks Film School, and I think even if it was an impartial postgame show, this conversation has to be mostly about what the Knicks did right in the second half. And we could start in a bunch of places. We're still learning about this team. We're still getting used to this team. I'm not sure where we could start other than 83 points in the second half against a defense that has not been a great defense this season. And you heard Dane Moore talk about that with Andrew Claudio on the pregame show. But this is still the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is still Rudy Gobert and J.D. McDaniels and Anthony Edwards and Julius has been defending a little bit. And Dante, we know Dante. We love Dante here. Dante defense. 83 points in the second half, Benjy. 83.
Crazy number, and it wasn't a Brunson explosion. It wasn't a cat takeover. It was just across the roster. And it's exactly what this offense promised, right? Yeah. Like what you saw in the second half with the pace generating open threes, with the pace generating trail threes, just random pushes up the court by Deuce that create threes behind him. Josh Hart pushes that create threes behind him. Everyone with the opportunity to grab it and go. And then you have your best shooters now playing off the ball more and reaping the benefits of that. Equal opportunity. Everybody's playing in the offense. Everyone's getting shots. Everyone's getting open threes. And then, John, you add to all of that the fact that there's still offensive rebounding like madmen. So you improve the offense the way you have, and you're still doing the dirty work. Mitchell Robinson has his best half of the season by a mile. OG Anunoby crashing the offensive glass. Deuce McBride getting busy on the offensive glass. So you're taking how many shots? Almost 20 shots more than the opponent with the offensive efficiency. Now you're talking about an unstoppable offense. This was what you saw in the second half is exactly the vision when Mike Brown came in to change this team.
We'll talk about the vision in a second. I do just want to, because you just brought it up. So this team last season, obviously offensive rebounding I mean, shit. Not long ago, offensive rebounding was the Knicks' best offense. It was their it was their offense. Period. Again, it is not that long ago that we lived in that world. Last season, the best offensive rebounding game for the Knicks. Do you want to guess what the number was? Oh, all of last season. Best offensive rebounding performance. Regular season or playoffs?
I would say 22.
18.
Wow. Okay. They broke it tonight.
Tonight. 21 offensive boards.
Man.
So if you are a Knick team that, and again, we're not talking about them playing, I'm trying to think of like a small kind of non-physical team. The Nets. Is that too easy? Is that low-hanging fruit? Whatever. If we're talking about them playing a team that's not the Minnesota Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle and Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels, who, as again, shout out to the pregame show. You heard Dave Moore talk about being 6'10", 6'11", whatever the hell he is. Anthony Edwards, not a small man by any stretch of imagination. If we're talking about them playing a different team and they got 21 offensive rebounds, like, all right, that's impressive. But again, look at the opponent. 21 offensive rebounds against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then to do what they did on offense, and I want to make sure I take advantage of you while you're here. Specifically, what did you see that they were able to do to exploit that defense in the second half in particular?
I thought, I've talked about this a little bit over the course of the first, what is it, 7 games now?
The Knicks are
9 games, whatever.
So 8 games.
Yeah. 8 games. It's funny how like playing with pace actually requires slowing down in a lot of ways, and requires patience. So like I thought early season now, really early season.
Yeah.
You're running all these actions, right? So you're throwing into the pinch post and you're getting into DHO actions. You're getting down screens from the corners to get into your DHO actions. So like Chicago actions. There's so much more in a possession. Is that when you're moving the ball like this, there's a lot more happening in the possession, that there's a tendency to get from one to the next too quickly, especially if you're the big. And I think Cat was guilty of this early. He's trying to make things happen before they're there because he's trying to move action to action. I thought there was great patience tonight. There are a few examples where they drew a switch that they liked. So Gobert would switch onto somebody. I remember one particular example. It was Deuce McBride. McBride tries to shake him a little bit, realizes, all right, maybe not, Rudy can still move. I'm not necessarily getting this shot up. And it's a quick swing to Jordan Clarkson in the corner who makes a big three. Like, they're within that pace, within action to action, you're getting the switches that you want because you're running the right stuff. But there's still patience in how you execute and make sure you make the right play out of it. I think the Knicks are starting to do that. And that's when it gets dangerous.
This is not going to come off kindly to the last head coach, but I'm going to say it anyway. It feels like last year, like we would see the offense get bogged down in moments like you just referenced. And then it was like, what do we do? Well, I guess we got to find Brunson or find Cat, and they're going to create something. And it felt like a team that had some exceptional tools in their toolbox, but a limited number of tools. And that if you got to the end of you went through your however many tools and there's no more tools left, it's like, all right, well, then we got to go with what we have. And it now seems like a team that just has a much deeper toolbox. I don't know if that's an oversimplification.
I think that's well said, and I'll add to it, like, because they're up court so much quicker. It's not just more tools; you have more time to use them, and like the ability now to get you can run 4 actions in a possession rather than 2 or 3. Your options are just exponentially more. There's more to do. You have more opportunity to create a crack that creates a larger crack that creates a larger crack. How many possessions have you seen now? By the 3rd or 4th drive, that's when it opens up and you hit the kick, right? So it's a combination of, yes, more stuff going on, more off-ball movement, 45 cuts mixed in, wheel spacing mixed in. Guys are moving in different ways, so there's more in the toolbox. There's also more time to use the toolbox. That's been a huge difference. You're starting to see the Knicks like really get it. That's what's exciting, is you're watching them get it in real time.
And to your point about things that are opening up for them, So only eight made free throws. They only got to the line 9 times.
Sheesh.
Minnesota, but that was the one thing Minnesota did do well. They got to the line 17 times, made 15 of them. The Knicks tonight scored 57 points from behind the arc. They made 19 threes. They scored 62 points in the paint and 8 points from the free throw line. You add all that up, that's 127 points that came either in the paint, from behind the arc, or at the free throw line. And they ended up with 137. So that means only 10 points elsewhere. Like, that to me speaks to an offense that is not really needing to take a whole lot of difficult shots.
Nailed it. And there was one shot, you and I, John, at the same time. There was one shot in the second half that we didn't like. Literally one.
Yes. So we called it out in the moment.
And it was a kind of a last year possession in a way, right?
From Jalen Brunson.
Brought up the ball, got a screen, made a nice move, took an elbow jumper. Wasn't that open? Is it a shot he could make? Oh, yes. He could probably make it 45% of the time. But then this offense can do more than that. This offense can generate 55%, 60% shots. And it was the one shot the whole second half that I didn't like. And it's exactly to your point, right? Like they're now getting used to this, and they understand the more we work this offense, the better the look's going to get. Jalen is embracing that. It was one bad shot. Like, Jalen is embracing it for sure. Yes. And he's reaping the benefits. Like, I know tonight wasn't a great shooting night, but look what the offense did. And he had 10 assists in the game. So it's helping everybody. And man, all ships will rise if you play this way. I don't think there's any doubt.
Look, they're making shots. They shot from 340. I mean, they've actually been shooting the ball pretty well for a while now. But like, this is now after starting the season, not with like bad assist totals. I mean, actually added it. So let's go. Okay. How about this for a stat? Holy shit. From game one, here are the assist totals this season. 22, 23, 23, 24, 27, 31, 32, and then tonight 32.
That's called linear. That's called linear progress.
So they say not all development is linear. Well, sometimes it is. And then when you add in the physicality with the offensive rebounds, and then the sum total of it, and we'll get into like some of the specific really outstanding performances, because there was some really good stuff to talk about on the defensive end as well. And you know what? If you wanted to lead this game talking about the defense, I wouldn't begrudge you. But they just whooped a team that shot 48% from behind the arc on 43 point attempts. You know, to do that is just, and like I thought Minnesota shot the ball well tonight. Like did you, let me ask you this before we get into some defense and individual accolades. Did you think Minnesota played poorly tonight?
I would say they played a little low energy.
Which as the game went on. Yeah.
Definitely, like, I didn't think their point of attack defenders were as physical as I've seen them in the past. I don't think Gobert was as active as I've seen him in the past. And the offensive rebounding speaks for itself. Like, they couldn't get a rebound.
Very
and Ant wasn't himself, but it was his first game back. He had some moments, but overall, definitely a little low energy from him. So I know, but they shot the ball great. Julius was great. Dante was great. Those two guys held him afloat for a while there. I thought the Knicks' coverage on Dante and Julius in particular was egregiously bad in the second quarter and into the third quarter a little bit.
They combined for 53 points.
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty good.
So those guys had fun in the Garden, which good for them. We love them here, but
we do.
But yeah, I thought Minnesota played a decent game offensively, and the Knicks just blew them out of the water with their offense, and that's pretty cool.
So 137 points with Jalen Brunson scoring 23 and Karl-Anthony Towns scoring 15. Brunson an off game at time for parts of it, but not a bad game. Again, 10 assists. You know, he had 3 early turnovers and then 1 turnover the rest of the game. I thought Karl-Anthony Towns was really good. Played within himself, and we talked about it during the watch along. His understanding of the offense, his comfort level in the offense. Hopefully he is, I love Ian Begley, man. Ian Begley dropped, I don't know if you read it. Ian Begley dropped a mailbag a few hours before the game. And as only Ian can, somebody asked a question about like Cat and his like should there be concern about his comfort in the offense? And Ian was like, look, sometimes players say things in front of a microphone and you just forget about it. That's not how I read what Karl-Anthony Towns said in front of the microphone before the season. But so the reason I bring that up is to say you would hope that, especially how he's produced and how the team has produced over the last 3-4 games, he's happy with everything that's going on, right? Like, if you're Cat, don't you have to be happy?
Man, he should be. And like, first of all, I love the increased aggression on the block. He had 2 more dunks tonight, just putting people under the rim. And for Cat, I'm sure he should be saying to himself, I'm getting great looks from 3, and I'm just not making them right now. And I have a decade-long track record of making threes at an extremely high rate. So
he was 1 of 5 tonight.
It's coming. Like, it's coming. We talked about the shooting as a whole early in the season, how confident I was that they were going to start making shots, and this is a good shooting team. The reason that it's good that they're taking more threes is because they'll make threes. They're good at shooting them. They have a lot of good shooters. Karl-Anthony Towns is maybe their best, and he's not even making shots yet. That's going to come, but I loved his patience within the offense tonight. I thought he facilitated really well from the elbows, made some great plays. The backdoor to Clarkson comes to mind as a beautiful play, taking advantage of Dante being a little over-aggressive, which we know he can be sometimes. So, yeah, I loved how he played. A couple of fouls drive me crazy. That's life. But overall, a very solid performance.
I am going to give you 4 names, and you tell me where you want to start. OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. I might have to give you 5 names. Josh Hart was really good. Josh Hart. So the other name was going to be Jordan Clarkson, so I guess it has to be 5 names because we got all 5 of those guys. I think warrant their own at least minute or 2 here. And Hart, I just want to say, Hart had a phenomenal game on like the whole. Their offense was not great out of the gate, and then they inserted Josh Hart for Mitchell Robinson, and Josh Hart came in and hit 2 threes off the bat, and for momentum purposes, those 2 threes were big, to say nothing of the fact that, as you mentioned on the playback, Benji, all of a sudden, when you see a couple of threes go down, all of a sudden, those closeouts get awfully real. It's not a fake closeout. And then the drive game, and then you attack the closeout and the whole thing. Where do you want to start? You pick one.
No, I'll piggyback off of that. Like, when you make 2 threes in the first quarter, it's even different than making them in the fourth quarter because that it just changes the whole defense. And then, man, they tried to stick Rudy Gobert on him, which we know teams are going to do because they're going to put their centers on him. Josh Hart comes up and just pulls up from 3 off the dribble, knocks it down. Yes, look, it goes without saying that Josh Hart, who makes a lot of threes, is like an exceptional basketball player. Is a borderline like automatic like fringe all-star. If Josh Hart made 4 threes tonight,
was a 40% 38% 3-point shooter on like semi-real volume.
Yeah, then we're talking about a different player.
He's a top 30 player in the league.
Yeah, so when he does that, yeah, it's going to be great. But I love the other stuff he's starting to do, pushing pace more now. Like it felt like it took him a little bit to realize, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Get the ball and go. And then the sprays. A couple times I thought he could have probably finished, and he's just looking to spray and kick. And there's probably something to like Mike Brown's just hammering that in. Like, let's get those sprays out. You get a paint touch, let's spray. And he did a great job of it. And even when he's not getting the initial assist, he pushes the whole defense down with those drives. It's 1 kick to the wing. That's the open 3 for the hockey assist. So I love what he's doing. And I thought defensively he was good tonight too. A couple of matchups on Julius, he did a good job. Had to fight in the trench with the Gobert a couple times.
The stand-up on Anthony Edwards that was in the fourth quarter. Yeah, very nice.
He's back. Josh Hart's back.
Josh Hart's back. Again, 3 straight games, but like we needed to see it, because he was in rough shape. I want to go.
He needed to see it. He needed.
He probably did. I want to go to OG and Mitch as a tandem because this team. We said it again during the watch along. We said it kind of already tonight. The offense is ahead of the defense. The question is not so much can the defense get there. I think we all believe the defense can get there. It is more like how do they get there and what does it look like when they get there and who is on the floor when they get there. Mitchell Robinson, 16 minutes tonight, 10 rebounds in 16 minutes, man. That's not Mitchell Robinson had 9 offensive rebounds and he played 16 minutes.
Built different.
Built different. Whatever the path is for the, and I don't want to, and this is not to belittle or diminish Mikal Bridges, who had some nice defensive moments tonight. Hart, we're going to get to Deuce, but like whatever the path is to a championship level defense, OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson are going to play a big part of it. And I'm not sure what's the bigger deal tonight. Mitch looking like Mitch for the first time this season, or OG putting together. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of. We've played 10% of the season, but man, what this guy's out there doing, should be frightening for the rest of the league.
He's on auto from 3 right now.
Well, that too. That helps.
Wow. Yeah. OG's defense, we know. And he gets another breakaway steal tonight. He's a menace. But like, yeah, the story, I think, just as like a development is Mitch, because I spoke about this, I guess in the grade book after that I wrote last night. Like Mitch, it's a tough balance that the Knicks are trying to strike here, because you want to manage his load, sure, but then he's not in shape or he's not in rhythm. And like, how do you find that? You're trying to figure out what lineups work. Well, if he's not in the lineup all the time, it's really hard to develop the chemistry you need. And so I thought even when he's been in there, it's just been a step slow, a step behind, a little gassed at times. It's like to see that in the third quarter, he gets an offensive rebound putback, gets back or maybe it was an offensive rebound and a kick out for 3. He had so many offensive rebounds, I don't remember. But he gets an offensive rebound and they score, and then he's blocking a shot on the other end in the transition opportunity. Blocks, So that tells me that his wind is back. He's back. Like, he looks so much better than he's looked all season. So he's a tremendous game changer when he's playing like this. And to have that option and to be able to go to that lineup and then go to a cat at the 5 lineup that can just spread you out and kill you. Like, that versatility is really exciting. Brown's obviously excited by it. He's playing all these different kinds of lineups.
Yeah.
So Mitch looking like Mitch is and he wasn't even that good in the first half. It was the second half. He came on and was just a menace. So that's a big development for the Knicks.
And when Cat is at the 5, it seems like, so to go back to what I said a minute ago, and again, we were kind of talking about this tonight. How is it going to look? How are they going to get there? You talked a lot about the gap help tonight and how it's a little bit too, or it's maybe not that's too much, but it at presently lacks some awareness of personnel, namely Dante DiVincenzo.
Right.
Like, there are certain guys you don't do that. But that said, if you have OG and Mikal and Josh playing the level of defense that we know he's capable of, and then Deuce, and you could have we could give throw some of these other guys a bone. Hello, Jordan Clarkson, your guy. Landry Shamet, your other guy. No, it's not so much. We'll stop at Clarkson, but. It does make sense if you are trying to construct a defense that could stay above water when Cat and Brunson are on the floor. It does make some sense to be a little bit more aggressive than you might otherwise be. You just have to be maybe a little bit smarter about it.
Yeah, it's more it's a personnel point, and it's just like a funny thing because I'm watching. Like, this was not DiVincenzo's specialty, I would argue. Like, the best thing that he does.
Yes.
And the reason he was so valuable to the Knicks is because Brunson demands that gap help. If you don't send gap help to Brunson, he's impossible to stay in front of one-on-one. And Dante not only can space, he can space far so that even when you're sending that gap help, there's no angle that can cut off the pass. And he can step in and shoot with a really quick release. So if you gap help off of Dante in particular, you cannot recover. Like, the bet is normally that you can recover in time to at least get a good contest. Not on Dante, where he's spacing to and with the release speed that he has.
Yeah.
And I thought, especially in scenarios when you had OG on Randall, as well as Randall played tonight, I'm taking that matchup one-on-one, and I'm keeping Dante off the 3-point line. So that was, but yeah, I mean, the gap help is aggressive. They are playing that way for a reason. They have wings that are long and can force turnovers. That's the vision, obviously, for Mike Brown. They are giving up a lot of threes, though. And I wonder if, generally speaking, at some point, now it's not just for tonight, but like as a general defensive philosophy, if they start to dial it back a little bit, because they are giving up an unhealthy amount of threes and teams are making them on them too.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Jeremy talked about this a little bit on the pod. I think and we didn't get to this point, but I'll just ask you because I have you. I know we're all over the place, and I don't want to keep you for too long. But like, I think if they're going to play this way, they almost have to become, if not like a high turnover, defensive turnover team. That has to be a part of the calculation.
Yeah,
you know,
that's exactly right. Yep,
and we'll see if they get there. Talked about Mitch, talked about OG. I'm gonna let you cook. Jordan Clarkson. Go.
Oh, man.
Go.
We gotta hit Deuce though, because Deuce had a great game.
We're gonna finish with Deuce. We're gonna finish with Deuce.
Jordan Clarkson, man. So here's the thing. Like, again, I want to like flash to that moment in third quarter ends. Thought they should have had like a 15-point lead. The Hart random turnover and then they missed a couple shots they should have made. Ends up at 9. And Brunson's off the floor, and Cat has 4 fouls. And there's like a real turning point scenario here. You're starting the fourth quarter with a random lineup. But I knew Clarkson was going to be in there because Brunson's not playing.
Yep.
And the first play of that quarter is just a kind of a simple Clarkson attacks a closeout, gets to his right hand, and finishes a floater with ease.
Yep.
They need someone when Brunson sits who can drive into the lane and finish something. They don't really have that player. Deuce is not that player. He's not. Like,
but
Bridges.
We're going to get to Deuce because Deuce could do other things, but yes,
right.
Not that
Bridges is not that player. He's not a guy like he's a closeout attacker, and he can make early passes that are good, but he's not a guy that's going to get a ton of paint touches on his initial drives. Clarkson, I know the decision making gets haywire. I know some of there are 1 to 2 shots a game that you're like, what are you doing?
There was a pass tonight that was special.
Wild, but it's valuable to this team. His skill set is needed, and that was a big bucket, and he makes a 3 later. His jump shot is a real jump shot, which allows him to get it off whenever he really wants, and even if it can be erratic at times, it's a valuable skill to have, and he gets fouled on it a lot because he gets so much air under it. Same with Deuce McBride, by the way, and not like Landry Shamet, by the way. But that's what I like about Jordan Clarkson on this team, and to his credit, he's digging in defensively. It's not always pretty. He's small. He's challenged, but he's working hard out there defensively. And so I think he's been a positive contributor so far. I thought he would be. I know he's a frustrating player at times, but I just think he's a good fit with this team, especially when Brunson's off the floor.
There is something about the Clarkson Deuce backcourt that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm stealing it from you. You talked about it during the game, but it just their skill sets. They could both do a little bit of all the different things. Again, Clarkson has his areas of strength. Deuce has his areas of strength. You'd love Yabu to be the guy that they thought they signed because he would have a really nice role in those backup lineups. But because, unfortunately, right now he's not reliable yet, they are leaning a little bit more on some of the other, like the starters, basically. But you have, if you could get that, if you get 2 bench players, 2 bench guards who fit together that well and can produce, that's a big thing.
Oh, absolutely. And it's something the Knicks have had pretty consistently since they started getting good, is like a backcourt tandem that produced for them. Like, that's been kind of a staple of the team. And I think they found it here as well. Like, I like it. I knew the Kolek Clarkson thing was a little tenuous. I just didn't really believe in that as a partnership. I don't think it's really Kolek's fault. It's just when they brought Clarkson in, it was going to marginalize Kolek. It just was. And I think they've now found a really nice, stabilizing, complementary backcourt when Brunson sits that can generate just enough offense, that has enough off-ball shooting, and you allow Deuce to guard the point of attack so Clarkson can guard wherever he needs to guard. I do like that combination. I think it's working out well.
By the way, cleaning the glass, updating stats much quicker now. 13th in defensive turnover percentage. That's pretty good. And here's I'm going to choose to have this be encouraging as opposed to discouraging. Knicks, in terms of opponent effective field goal percentage, even after this game, 28th in the league. Opponents are hitting shots against them at a pretty absurd rate. The defense has not been great. It has not been 28th in the league bad. That number is going to come down. I bet you see the defense is going to improve. Let's end with Deuce, who, I mean, just the glue. He is the new Emmanuel Quickly. And let's hope that some team doesn't sign him away for 5 years and $175 million.
I don't think he's getting that, but he's gonna get more than he's making now. I promise you.
Yes, he is.
Man, yeah, just filling all the gaps for this team. And I was like a little taken aback by his minutes and like the way he was being used in the rotation the last couple games. Like Brown kind of went away from him as like one of the early subs. He became almost like an afterthought. He's not an afterthought. Like he's got to be. If Josh Hart's the sixth man, fine, but he's seventh. Like he needs to be a staple for this team. He needs to play in lineups with Cat. He needs to play with lineups where Brunson sits. He needs to play with Brunson at times. Like he should be parts of all these lineups. He doesn't take much off the table at all. If anything, he's just adding right now. He's shooting the ball really confidently. His point of attack defense on Anthony Edwards at times tonight was excellent.
Goodness gracious. Excellent. Really good.
Really good. Held up well. So yeah, he's such a solid basketball player. And I think he's just like, he's right. He's new quickly in the sense that like all lineups seem to just function better with him out there. And there's a reason for that. He's just doing everything to help and taking nothing off the table.
21 minutes tonight, the sixth most minutes on the team. To going back to what you said, Hart was 27, Deuce was 21. Mitch started but only played 16. A plus 26 in those 21 minutes.
Sheesh.
That does not feel like a misnomer. I mean, to think about a game, they won this game by 23 points, and they were outscored in the 26 minutes that Deuce McBride was not on the floor. That's and again, to reference that Ian Begley mailbag, and you heard this first when Ian Begley came on the Knicks Film School podcast and said this to me, like they never seriously considered trading Deuce. Like they didn't want to trade Deuce. That was teams calling and getting, probably a very quick answer. Like, no.
I mean, look, I hate to make it about financials, but you have that value on that contract, like with a team that's brushing up against aprons.
Well, yes, but
pretty remarkable value.
It is remarkable, but that coin, that there's two sides to that coin in that the value is so good and it will not remain that way for long.
That's
he
true.
is going to get paid.
Right.
But and here's the key part, he is not entering free agency. You get him on you actually get him for cheaper next year. So it's
wild.
Yeah, look, he's one of the best contracts in the NBA. I remember writing a newsletter last year. Who has the better value contract, him or DiVincenzo, which I think is an interesting discussion. Look, let's end here for you, and then we'll get to all the other stuff and the super chats and the whole thing. I think this felt, to me, it kind of almost felt like a signature win. Maybe, is it the first signature win of the year? It had the smell of a signature win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Cavs was a great win.
That was a great win on opening night.
But it's opening night. It's weird. This was a game where like everyone was, first of all, the Knicks have played 4 games in 6 nights. And now they get a nice long break. And to come out on your home floor like that against, Randall and DiVincenzo won it. It's a really good basketball team. Anthony Edwards comes back. This is a team that doesn't get blown out. Like you just took it to them. That is legit. And I don't think the Wolves played well. And if I'm like you said before, if I'm on a Wolves post game, I'm going off on the team for the energy they showed or lack thereof over the course of this game. But a lot of that has to do with what the Knicks did in the second half, just like bludgeoning them. And I think for sure the best half of the season, and a big statement. And now you get to chill and get a little practice time in over the next 3 days, whatever it is, and you get Brooklyn on Sunday. So we're on a nice little run.
You just made me think of this. Oh, please, God, don't lose to fucking Brooklyn on Sunday. But they played the best half of the season, second half. The first half was not great, and the Wolves played well in the first half, but they stuck around. Like the Knicks never let go of the rope. They were only down by a few points at halftime, but like they did enough, and that's a sign, I think, of a great team when you don't play your best half, and yet you're playing a good team, and the team you're playing is playing well, and they're hitting everything, and you're right there. That's a good sign. It's an encouraging sign.
Yeah, and you're just waiting for things to get going, and like the explosiveness is that they've shown that a few times where they can come out in the third quarter and drop 40 on you like it's nothing, and like didn't even seem like they broke a sweat in the third quarter. That is potentially the game changer here. If there's if this season, this coaching change, this stylistic change, some of the depth pieces, if it truly raised the ceiling, that's where it raised the ceiling, where you can score, so you can blow teams out of the water with your shooting, with your offense. And like, just if you can hang around for the quarter where the shots go in, and you can drop that 45-point quarter, all of a sudden you're cruising to a 20-point win as opposed to grinding it out. That is the potential ceiling raiser that we're all hoping for and that we're starting to see.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to keep you, but like when you think about what it takes to get to the point that you're talking about, to bring it back to where we started this conversation, the fire when you are open without hesitation, and what we saw tonight and what we've seen all season from OG. But like, think about the couple of the McCall threes tonight, where it was like split second, you snap your fingers and he's firing. Like, that's what you need. And for these guys to all be at a comfort level where it's like, this is what we do, man. This is how it is now. That's a great freaking sign.
Yep, it is. And like, just like the catch and shoot of it all. I don't know. I'm curious to count how many they had tonight, but like, they're averaging 10 more catch and shoot threes a game as compared to last year. Early, obviously. But that's a
10 more?
10 more. I looked it up yesterday. That's a huge difference. From 23 to 33, I think.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not insane when you think about the
and you look at the individual numbers. Every single player is up. Every single one of them. OG's like crazy up from like 3 to 8 or something. Everyone else is up. Brunson from like 2 to 3.5. Towns from like 3 to 5. And like, everyone is up. So again, you believe in the shooters, which we do because they're good shooters. You're getting the best kinds of looks because you're playing in transition. Plus, forget about the offensive rebound looks. Those are the best looks in the game. You're getting a lot of those.
Helps have the best offensive rebounder in the game.
That's where the explosiveness comes from, man. That's where these quarters come from. Is you start making threes at a pace like that with catch and shoot looks, you can blow teams out. That's what they did tonight.
And they did tonight against a good basketball team. Benjy Ritholtz, I always feel so fortunate to get to talk to you after these games. Truly. Best there is.
That's sweet, man. Thanks.
Well, I believe it. And I wouldn't tell you if I didn't believe it. So thank you for your expertise. Great books on Patreon. I loved the last one, and I know you. I saw you responded to me on Twitter, and I was like, I like Benjy waiting a couple games because it goes over some big picture themes. But you're like, oh, I'm still figuring out the.
Yeah,
so you're gonna do a great book after this one.
Oh yeah, we have a nice long amount of time now to. This one will be a Minnesota focused one, but yeah, always big themes, notes on each player. A lot to talk about. It's been a fun season so far, so I'm excited to write about it. Rewatch this one. That'll be a fun game to rewatch, John. That was a good time.
And if you want the best bonus content in the biz, sign up for the Knicks Film School Patreon. The Brunson tier gets you the Benjy grade books. It gets you the DJ film analysis, and you also get some bonus podcasts from me. I am going to record a mailbag at some point in time in the next 24 hours. So be on the lookout if you're already a patron for my call for mailbag questions. Benjy Ritholtz, you're the man. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much tonight. This was a fun one.
All right. Have fun. Be good.
Peace out, brother. We'll talk to you soon. All righty. And now it's just me. And we're going to move on to the Super Chats very soon. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. This is going to be fun. I emptied my bottle of red wine into the cup that I was drinking tea out of because I was dealing with a little bit of a sore throat. So I'm sure there's not going to be any repercussions that I'm just housing red wine now. Let's start off the only way that we do, which is with a couple of reminders from our friends at FANATICS Sportsbook that they are just the absolute best. And we are so happy to be partnering with them. Our betting and sweating picks tonight. So we do, if you've been following along, we've been having one person tonight. It was me give all of their picks for all of our categories. I think I did pretty well tonight for what it's worth. And then we have our official betting and sweating picks for whoever's not on. So tonight that was Andrew, who took over 1.5 Julius Randle made threes. And unsurprisingly, Julius Randle hit 3 3-pointers because he was back in the garden and he was feeling awfully good about himself. So Andrew hit there. Shout out to Andrew. Sean with a W took Mikal Bridges over 4.5 assists. I take responsibility for that number moving from 3.5 to 4.5. Forget the bookmakers, the line makers, whatever they call them. I take responsibility for that because it was 3.5, and I was taking it game after game after game. Tonight, Sean piggybacked off me, so I'm still going to take credit. Bridges hit it. 5 assists for Mikal Bridges. He is kind of the de facto second point guard in command now for the Knicks. And then, last but not least, Mensah. Why, Mensah? Why, Mensah? You went directly against my parlay, which I actually bet on in my Fanatics app. And I did pretty well on it. I did a parlay of DiVincenzo over assists and Mitch over rebounds that I hit on. Mensah took under DiVincenzo 3.5 assists. And sorry, Mensah, you are the guy that is holding us back from hitting our parlay tonight, which would have been plus 610. But 2 out of 3, not bad at all. A reminder, by the way, if you are out there and you're watching or anything, and you are interested in potentially winning $100 in FANCASH, which you can go out and spend on all kinds of great stuff. I have a bunch of stuff behind me that I got with FANCASH. I have a bunch of clothes that I got with FANCASH. I have some shirts over here. All you got to do, there's a survey, which is actually pinned in the chat to this YouTube stream right now. Go fill out the survey. It'll take like 5-10 minutes. You'll be automatically entered to win $100 in FANCASH from Fanatics. And also you'll be helping us out because that would make our sponsors very happy. So I think that's it. Super chats? Should we do some super chats, Kev? Let's do some super chats. Got Kev on the 1s and 2s tonight. We start off with Riyad Raheem. If I recall correctly, Riyad Raheem was critical the last time I heard from him. I don't know if that's my imagination. Riyad, we lose a game like this when a team can't miss from 3 in the Tibbs era, just off of math. New offense helps to neutralize with countered 3-point generation. Riyad, I think it's the story of the season so far. It's not that the Knicks are taking so many threes. And again, I keep updating my page. It's still, come on, NBA stats, NBA.com/stats. What are you doing? You haven't updated my average 3-point attempts per game, which the Knicks are actually, I think, going to fall in ever so slightly because they were at 43.9 3-point attempts per game, and they only took 42. So they're going to fall slightly. They will still be in the top 5. And I think after tonight, they have a pretty good chance to be in the top 10 in percentage. So make percentage. To your point, Riyad, it is how they are generating the threes. And Mike Brown makes it sound very simple. Just get into the paint and spray out to 3. You just heard Benjy Ritholtz give you a clinic on how they are doing this. Getting up the floor fast. That's the start. But also, once they get up the floor, have patience. Be ready to make the next pass. Be ready to get into the next action if the first action doesn't work, which, by the way, you now have time to get into the second action and the third action because you have gotten the ball up the floor fast. It is shooting without hesitation when you have an opportunity to shoot and trusting that, hey, you know what? We're going to put up so many shots tonight from 3 that, like, I know I'm a good shooter. I'm going to let this fly because even if it misses, that's fine. We're putting up 43s tonight. So I know a bunch of them are going to go in whether this one does or doesn't, but they also employ a lot of really confident, good, skilled shooters. So a lot of those shots are going to go in, and they are going in now. And then when you combine that with all of the offensive concepts, which again, Benjy already talked to you about, the wheel stuff where you have multiple guys in motion at the same time, Cat operating out of the pinch post, just all the different stuff that we're seeing. Chicago actions, as which they and look, let me be very, very clear about this. They did this stuff last year. Some of this stuff. Chicago was a big part of their offense last year. But to be doing so much of it so consistently and having so many more possessions because you are upping the pace and the lack of hesitation from 3, it really has I don't know if revolutionized the offense is too strong. It probably is too strong a term because it's a pretty good, damn good offense the last few years. It has certainly revitalized the offense. And you're right, Riyadh. When they went up against a really high shooting team, it just felt like, man, it's maybe they didn't lose all those games, but those games felt like an uphill climb on fucking roller skates. And now it doesn't feel that way anymore, which is a great place to be. So, good way to start us off tonight, Riyadh. Thank you. Next up, JDM 1985. Panic after 5 games looks laughable in hindsight. Look, it's a long season. Maybe some of us were inclined to have a little bit of a strong reaction. Oh, I just saw your text or your chat, Kev. Gotcha. Anyway, no, look, I did not love what I saw from one player in particular after the Bucks game, and I just didn't love. Frankly, I didn't love the defensive effort in the Bulls game, and I started to go to some dark places because I'm like, well, if we're questioning the defensive effort in the 5th game of the season, and it's a new coach, and in theory you're supposed to be trying to impress the new coach. Look, this team is good. This team knows it's good. This team knows it's going to be there at the end of the year. And I think you never know how people are going to react to a significant adjustment. And this team, as we just talked about, because this offense is night and day, was making a significant adjustment. I also do think it has a little bit to do with the fact that, like, hey, home cooking. They're 5-0 at home. So it's good stuff any way you cut it. And in hindsight, I don't want to say it looks laughable. Still only played 8 games so far. Long ways to go. But no, it does. It feels a little silly right now. Thanks, JDM. Robert W. Cross. Wouldn't be a big win if Robert Cross didn't chime in. First time, long time, it's your boy John. Is it fair and reasonable to say that? Oh, that's why he's chiming in, because Mitch had a big game. Number 23 will be hanging up in the garden rafters someday. Thanks. I'll hang up and listen. Hashtag 53 wins. Robert has a few more, so let me take each of these, and then I'll address all of them in unison. Next up from Robert. First time, long time, it's your boy John. Do you think Mitchell Robinson is the Knicks' most important player for our title hopes? Hashtag 53 wins. And then last but not least from Robert. First time, long time, it's your boy John. Do you think the Knicks should extend Money Mitch? Tell me what I want to hear. Hashtag 53 wins. Okay, I'll take those one at a time. Let me take the easiest one first, which is, should the Knicks extend Mitchell Robinson? They don't need to right now, Robert. I love Mitch. We just sung Mitch's praises. Benji told you seeing Mitch be Mitch was the most important development from this game. I agree with him. Mitchell Robinson, unfortunately, the injury issues are what the injury issues are. And the Knicks have the luxury of having his bird rights. And they also have the luxury of Mitchell Robinson being a player who seems to very much like playing in New York. And I don't think if he has a really good season and he ends the season healthy, and the Knicks know, hey, man, we know what this guy is. We know he has to keep him here. And they make him a fair offer. He's not going to go anywhere. So I don't think you need to extend him right now. As for the most important player, Karl-Anthony Towns is the most important player because of the variance between top Towns and then not top Towns. So, like, Brunson obviously is the best player, but I think we all have faith that Brunson's going to be Brunson in the playoffs because he's Jalen Brunson. Cat, to me, is going to be the guy. Look, if Cat goes out there and he performs to the best of his capabilities in the playoffs, we're probably going to be celebrating well, I'm ahead of myself. It's probably going to be a good postseason. So that's why I'll answer with that. And then, will Mitchell Robinson have number 23 in the rafters? if he's on the team when they win it, if they win a championship and he's on the team when they win a championship, then yes. If they do not win a championship, then no. Very easy answer. So I'll be optimistic. I'll say yes. That's my answer. Thanks, Robert. Uptown Hoodie, what's going on, Uptown? Thesis statement game. I like that. Knicks Film School talking about thesis statements. I like what you did there, Uptown Hoodie. Team thrives with minimal burden on Brunson and an uneven cat game. I thought it was a good cat game. I think this was it. Cat didn't score a lot of points. He missed some threes. I thought this was a really good cat game. For what I thought it was an uneven Brunson game, actually, if I'm keeping it a buck. Salute to Mitch, Hart, Deuce, OG, and the coaches. Yeah, no, everybody's doing a great job. It was a really encouraging sign that they won this game without, let's say, spectacular scoring performances from your two best players. And yeah, we know what the thesis is. We know what the thesis. Well, I mean, the thesis tonight was score a fuck ton of points, and get good shots, and they got good shots, and they made enough of those good shots. So that was the thesis tonight. I'm still waiting, to see. Again, we talked about it already. We kind of have a clue where the defense is going and what the idea is. I do want to see it in actuality because, the defense is still a work in progress, but that's fine. That's fine. They have what sure looks to be a top 3 offense in the league right now, which is not like that's not an insignificant thing. I'm actually going to check because that actually maybe jumped a lot tonight. Let's see if it even updated. Come on, NBA. What are you doing? Still no update on the official stats page. Shout out to the Houston Rockets with the best offense in the league. 123.2 points per 100 possessions. Shit. Anyway, no, I agree with you, Uptown. Good stuff. Thank you. Carlos, what's going on, Carlos? This might be my favorite Knick team of all time. Carlos, not at all getting ahead of himself. It has a chance to be. It certainly has a chance to be. It has a chance to be a Knick team unlike any we've seen. I mean, I don't think this is hyperbole at all. I'll go a step further. If this isn't the best Knicks offense of my lifetime, I would be disappointed. This should be the best Knicks offense since the championship years. And honestly, I don't even think that's set like that. That's not a super high bar. Like it should be the best Knicks offense of the last 50 seasons. I think that's a reasonable expectation. But it's New York, and what do we love here? We love defense here. And that's the nice thing is there's some really good defenders on this team, and that guys like OG and Mitch and Deuce and McCall. I feel like McCall's getting shortchanged here. These are exceptional defensive players. So again, if they put that end of the floor together, and then we see what we do in the playoffs. Thanks, Carlos. I am AK Legend. What's going on? I am AK Legend. How many bench points did we end with? Might be my favorite win so far. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, I don't want to shortchange the opening night because opening night was a big night, and I really wanted to win that game, and they did win that game. Tonight, the bench scored. I'm going to do math. 35, 45, 46, 47, 48, 53 points. Shout out, by the way, to rookie Muhammad Diawara, who scored his first NBA points tonight. I hope he got the game ball. But yeah, 18 for Hart, 14 for Deuce, 5 for Yabu, 7 for Clarkson. Important 7 for Clarkson. Shaman made it 3 in the fourth quarter. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks, IMK. Oh, Kevin is saying his first basket. He had a free throw in a previous game. I forgot that. My bad. Sorry, Mohammed. Stan Brad 13. You're going to have a hard time signaling the best player out. What a game. Hart, Mitch, OG, Deuce. I can't say enough about how good this feels after so much turmoil. We are to be respected now. Let's go Knicks. Man, I mean, you know, for me, it comes down to the stars of the game, which I do in the Knicks Film School newsletter. Shout out to all of my people in the stack out there. If you're interested in reading about this basketball team, consider subscribing to the Knicks Film School newsletter on Substack. I got to leave one of these guys out because there's only 3 stars of the game, and there are no ties. I don't do ties. That's bullshit. OG has to be among the top 3. Has to be among the top 3. Deuce, like, again, team high, plus 26, 6 of 10 from the field. Just was a lightning bolt every second he was in the game tonight. So that means I'm going to have either Hart or Mitch out. Man, I thought Hart changed the damn game. I really did think Hart changed the game. So what am I going to not have Mitch in there and Mitch's best game of the season and like just an utterly dominant second half from Mitchell Robinson? Well, to find out my answer, subscribe to the Knicks Film School newsletter and you'll see tomorrow. I will settle on something. I don't know what I'm going to settle on. This is as difficult a decision, you know, and this is to say that like Towns was really good tonight. I thought Jordan Clarkson, I thought had a really good game tonight. Like, you know, Brunson, 23 and 10. It's like, you know, so it's a tough one. It's the toughest one of the season, and it is as tough probably as any game that I could remember in a while. Thanks, Stan Brad. Huzzoo, Mitch, OG, Woof. What a monstrous defensive duo. Yeah, I kind of want to look up. Maybe I'll look it up where they're at right now in terms of defense. In terms of when those guys play together, it has felt really good when Mitch and OG have been on the court. Obviously, they have not been able to be on the court for that long because Mitchell Robinson has not played that many possessions yet this season. But no, it's really good together. Like, you know, and that's why, again, when we talk about what is the best lineup going to be for this team come playoff time, I think it's a really interesting discussion because, you know, it's a great way to deal with, you know, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns on defense, having 2 all defense level players on the floor at the same time. I don't know if this includes tonight, but Cleaning the Glass says that Mitch and OG have played 46 possessions together so far this season. 106.8 points per 100 possessions allowed. That's 90th percentile. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. On offense, I love early season, small sample size. 147.8 points per 100 possessions scored. They're a plus 41 per 100. Again, in 46 possessions, which is like 20 minutes, if that. Pretty good. Pretty good. So let's get some more of those guys together. Thanks, Hush. Kevin Anishevsky, what's going on, Kev? I hope you got some love for your food pantry the other night. I thank God for December 30th, 2023 every day, and I am not religious. December 20th or 30th, 2023, of course, is the day the Knicks traded for OG Anunoby. Again, decent basketball player. My hot take, surprising for me, is that I think Hart Mitch lineups can be really good. Look, I'm not going to take a bow. I think I've been saying this for a while. I think they could work. I think when you put 2 really good basketball players on the floor together, just because one of those guys doesn't shoot threes at all and the other one of those guys is inconsistent from 3, does not mean it can't work. It worked great last season. The numbers say that it worked great last season. Even in the playoffs, by the way, the numbers say that it worked great last season. Those are two guys who play their asses off, and they play the right way. And they're both like Josh Hart, super smart basketball player. Mitch, in his way, is a super smart basketball player. Like, they can work. They can work. They should work. It's a matter of who do you put around them. Do you put enough creation around them? You know, what do the lineups look like? But yeah, no, I'm with you, Kev. I'm with you. Okay. And now, drum roll, please. As soon as I pull it up, where is it? There it is. Yes. Shout out to our friends at Cornbread. Life, well, you know, it gets crazy sometimes. One thing that helps me unwind when life does get crazy are Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies. If you've tried just about everything under the sun for peace of mind because you have a crazy life and you're like, oh my God, I just need to calm down, Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies might be the thing to try for you. What could we boast about tonight? Let's boast about the fact that they are formulated specifically to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. If you're an adult over 40, you don't sleep well. So Cornbread Hemp might help with that. And then they only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest and most potent CBD. And of course, you know, it's USDA organic, ensures safety and purity, all the good stuff you want, none of the stuff you don't. If you want to save 30% on your first order because you're a Knicks Film School listener, you get in the special club. All you got to do is head to cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. One more time, that is cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. Shout out to Cornbread. Next up, Anthony Sixto. Is it my imagination, or did Deuce graduate to opponents passing out of his defensive matchup? Edwards had the matchup a few times and won it out. #blueprint. Deuce is a pit bull tonight, man. Deuce was a freaking pit bull tonight. He's playing exceptional basketball. When it's his time to be highlighted, he holds up his end of the bargain. When it's his time to be just part of the larger fabric, he holds up his end of the bargain. I said it tonight on the watch along, and I'll say it again now. I think is Anthony Edwards an ideal matchup for Deuce? No, it's not. Anthony Edwards a big freaking guard. And to ask Deuce to like tangle with him, it's asking a lot. So I compare Deuce to like an innings eater in baseball. Your starter maybe pitches an okay game, but like takes a lot of pitches and has to leave in the fourth inning, and you need to bridge the gap to your like your setup man and your closer. Who could we get to come in and pitch 3 1/3? And tonight, for me, putting Deuce on Anthony Edwards, that's like 3 1/3 shutout innings in the middle of a baseball game. You know, or maybe, you know, you give up 1 run or something. Like, that he is able to do that, and that you have that as an option on a team when you already have Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, and you think about tonight, and you think about the pressure that this Minnesota team puts on defenses with Anthony Edwards there, and then Julius Randle playing like an all-star. It's a lot of freaking pressure. It's the same pressure that the Knicks used to put on defenses when they had Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, and they were a top 4 defense or whatever it was, or offense. You know, Minnesota has that same capability, so it puts so much pressure on you. And so to have a guy like Deuce to alleviate some of that pressure, because you can't put OG on, and he has to guard Julius. You know, so, and you know, you can't play Anthony Edwards the whole game. You know, it's a nice luxury to have, and for a team that's trying to win a championship, it's a necessary luxury to have. Thanks, Anthony. Deadward 604. What's going on, Deadward? Thank you for the generous contribution. Mitch is like a flame-throwing baseball reliever. What do you know? I just make a reliever comparison for Deuce, and now you're making one for Mitch, who just throws gas for an inning or two. He's going to have limited minutes, but he was a monster in the time he was in. The Mitch minutes thing is fascinating to me. He played, what did I say he played tonight? 16 minutes? 16 minutes. Half of those minutes were exceptional. Is that going to be what he's going to be, though? I still think that he can get up to like 20 to 25 minutes a game. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think there will be games where the Knicks need Mitchell Robinson to play upwards of 25 minutes a game because Huck Porty is maybe not ready yet, and because Yabusele is just not at a place where he could be relied upon right now, at least in a big way. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess is my answer. We'll see. But to your point, Edwards, when he comes in, if he could be this, I mean that, the Mitch we saw in the second half tonight, that's an all defense level player. It's awesome. Thanks, man. Drew P, what's going on, Drew? Wolves, 9 offensive rebounds, 2 blocks versus Mitch. Wait, hold on. Mitch, Wolves, 9 offensive rebounds, 2 blocks versus Mitch. Are you saying the Wolves had? I'm not. So Mitch had tonight 9 offensive rebounds and 3 blocks. The Wolves as a team, oh, I see what you're saying, had 2 blocks and 9 offensive rebounds. So Mitchell Robinson had more offensive rebounds and blocks than the entire Wolves team. Yes, correct. And yes, Deuce was a plus 26. He's awesome. Thanks, Drew. I know. As soon as I saw the first thing in the super chat, I said, this is got to be for Ben. 102 field goal attempts, 42 threes, 15 stocks. These are the things, for anybody who doesn't know Ben Kim Garvey, these are the things that Ben tracks. And he's wise to track them because they tend to portend good things. Win, hashtag good bones. 102 field goal attempts. 102 field goal attempts. That makes me wonder. Last season, how many games did the Knicks have where they attempted 102 field goal attempts, or more than 100 field goal attempts, let's say? The answer is 7. They had at least 100 field goal attempts 7 times last season. 102 field goal attempts would have ranked 4th on the year last year, behind a Kings game. I remember that Kings game. The Kings turned it over a million times, and the Knicks were getting out on the break. An overtime game against the Bulls in February. And then, the blowout against Memphis. I remember that game too, because the Kings game and the Memphis game came back to back, and both of those teams turned it over. The Grizzlies turned it over a ton. The Kings game, I remember them getting out and running a lot in the Kings game, but the Kings didn't turn it over a lot in that game. Anyway, those are the only 3 games that the Knicks shot all of last year, had more than 102 field goal attempts, and they did not do it once in the postseason. So this year, 102 is a high for the year, but they put up 98 against Miami. A rough shooting game for them. So annoying. 95 against the Bulls, 94 against Washington, 92 against Milwaukee, 91 against the Bulls. They put up a lot of shots. Their least number of shots this year is 86, which they've done twice. Meanwhile, last season, They shot under 86 field goal attempts 24 times. So it's all trending in the right direction. And then the stocks, I talked about that a little bit with Benji too. Turnovers are key. Thanks, Ben. Michael Aaron, what's going on, Michael? What a team win. I'm with Brunson having the most minutes at 33. Wow, yeah. It's a new sheriff in town. And I thought Mike Brown did a really nice job deploying the rotation tonight. Look, it helps when you have Josh Hart that you could bring off the bench, and Deuce McBride that you could bring off the bench, and Jordan Clarkson you could bring off the bench. And you know what? He really trusts Landry Shamet. I think Tibbs did a little bit. But it's like if Tibbs could avoid using Shamet, he's going to avoid using Shamet. Mike Brown's like, hey, come on in. You're my first sub off the bench or second sub off the bench, whatever it is. And I use this word a lot in the preseason, and I'll use it again now. He has empowered a lot of guys on this roster. And the team is playing like a group of players that have been empowered. And it shows tonight. You don't beat the snot out of the Wolves if you aren't playing like an empowered team, and they did tonight. Thanks, Michael. Big Stu, what's going on, Big Stu? How are you? Josh Hart is a good basketball player. You don't say. And I'm happy he plays for my team. Big Stu, you preach to the choir. If with Knicks Film School, we pride ourselves on, we don't have any takes here. We don't have any stances. I may have stances. Benji may have stances. DJ may have stances. Andrew may have stances. Jeremy may have stances. Sean, up at Jeff. Everybody may have their own stance. As a group, as a larger group, I don't think we are universally married to anything. I am proud of the fact that we're pretty pro Josh Hart here at Knicks Film School, because he's earned it, and two, like, I don't know, if you're going out of your way to look for reasons to not believe in Josh Hart, I'm not saying he's a perfect basketball player. He's not by any stretch of the imagination. He's played terribly first 5 games of the season. But what more could you possibly want from a player in terms of just giving you a reason to root for that player and wanting that player to succeed and wanting to be positive about that player and that player's impact? He just, whatever he has, he gives. And he does it night after night, and he figures it out. And tonight, I don't know, it's probably his best game of the year. He was awesome tonight. Really, really good. Really, really good. Thanks, Big Stu. Baltimore Corey. What's going on, Baltimore Corey? 53 bench points is effing insane. I mean, for this team, think about last year versus now. Forget last year. Think about the 3-game losing streak. When we were talking about, man, the depth isn't nearly as good as it was shaken up, as it was made out to be. Well, maybe the depth is okay, actually. Still questions. Yabu's not there. They don't really, when, here's the thing. When Landry Shamet's your 9th man, that's probably not a great situation to be in. It's not exactly where you want to be. But again, Deuce, Clarkson, Hart, like those 3, man. If Yabu could get on track, they'll be in business. Seeing if I missed anything from oh my God, the Mavs they're in last place in the West. That's unfortunate. This is from John Krasinski. Dante DiVincenzo said the Wolves defense is an energy thing, a spirit thing. Right now, we're a sometimes team. We need to be an always team. We have the potential. We're there. We know what it looks like. We just have to do it. They'll be fine in Minnesota. Minnesota's a good team. All right. Thanks, Baltimore, Corey. Robert Cross, first time, long time. It's your boy John. I know Brownie. I knew Brownie. We're calling him Brownie now. That's fine. Would work out. How about Mitch tonight? Big difference maker. Hashtag 53 wins. No. He was really good. Mike Brown. Look, is he the best coach in the NBA? Probably not. Was he maybe the perfect coach for this team right now? Maybe. The offense looks awfully good. And the players seem awfully bought in. Let's hope it continues. Thanks, Robert. Greg Film Stuff. Thank you, Greg. Very generous contribution, man. Really appreciate that. Oh, it's long time, man. Long time you've been chiming in on these, and I my appreciation level does not go down. The offense is settling in. Wingstop was great. Mitch took over a quarter. The Deuce, Clarkson, and Hart minutes will be fun to watch this year. Jalen is getting comfortable in this offense. Good early win versus a top West team. And a top West team that was feeling great about itself because they were coming off 2 straight wins without their best player. And they got their best player tonight. And they came out and they started the first quarter off really well. And so it was all set up for Minnesota. And so then for me to go and look and see Dante DiVincenzo talking about, we're a sometimes team and we need to be an always team. The fact that the Knicks took it to them to the point where the Knicks, I think, had a large role in making the Wolves kind of fold in the second half tonight. The Wolves weren't going to do that on their own. They needed to be pushed to doing that. That's big. That's big. That's significant. As far as Deuce, Clarkson, and Hart, I also have enjoyed those minutes. Again, I'm kind of, why not? Clarkson, Hart. Again, McBride missed some games, so there's not going to be a ton of minutes together. But, oh, wow. Their numbers actually coming into tonight were not good. Mostly because the defense was very bad. But I like those 3 too together. I like those 3 too. Thanks, Greg. Stevens Guillaume, what's going on, Stevens? Always good to hear from you. Followed a 3-game losing streak with 3 straight wins. Let's keep streaking. You think Mitch gets the Tim's and construction outfit? He was great defensively tonight. Who gets the defensive player of the game? It's tough because, they could give it to OG every game. They really could give it to OG every game. I'd probably give it to Mitch. I'm trying to think if they announced it. No, I don't see it. Yeah. I don't know. It'll probably be Mitch. Thanks, Stevens. Kento Cato, what's going on, Kento? I like this Josh Hart. Me too. Look, he's Josh Hart. Big game from the bench. OG, legit all-star candidate. Mitch is hilarious to watch. Well, Mitch is one of one. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit at the end of the playback watch along. I'll bring it up now. I think there is a world where the Knicks get a third all-star candidate, let's say. I mean, right now, the East. So the Knicks are tied for third in the East. They're in a four-way tie for third in the East with Philly, Milwaukee, and Cleveland at 5-3. Detroit is 6-2. Chicago is 6-1. I think that there is a decent chance the Knicks are first in the East when we get closer to All-Star. Oh, Kevin's telling me Deuce got the construction vest and the Timbs. All right, that's fine. You know what? Deuce is awesome tonight. I don't begrudge that at all. And trust me, Mitch is going to get a ton of opportunities. Hey, we want to put a picture? Where is it? No, take that one down. Remove that. There it is. Okay. That's a good shot. We got Kat smiling in the back. Tyler Kolek has no shirt on for some reason. Mikal Bridges for every one of these is standing right next to the guy who gets it, which is, I think, just the funniest thing in the world. What is Jalen Brunson doing? And what is Josh Hart doing? What is going on? Jordan Clarkson looks disinterested. And Ariel Hukporty looks like the bad guy in a horror movie, the serial killer in a horror movie. You see Hukporty's face there? That's Hukporty, right? Yeah. I don't know what is up with Hukporty there, but that's great stuff. Truly. Hold on, I gotta make this bigger. Yeah, Brunson and Hart are just they're awesome, but Hukporty steals the show here. All right, congratulations on your Tims. Thanks, Kento. Joseph Milio, what's going on? A bench is a beautiful thing. A lot of love for the bench tonight. It's funny. I did not even think to make as big a deal about the bench at the start of the show as I probably should have, just because I don't know why. Because like I just thought, you know what it is? I just think the lineups that are going out there are just working. And I think Mike Brown, what he's doing a beautiful job is mixing the starters and the bench. You know, playing, okay, so when he plays Deuce and, Clarkson together, he's playing them with, one of the starting wings. And a lot of times Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, it's not the shifts. It's not the hockey shifts that we were used to last year. Where it was like the starters would play a bunch of minutes, and then, you'd get Cat off, and then Cat with the subs, and then you go back to the starters. Like tonight, like what's amazing with Mike Brown? You had in the first half of this game a 10-man rotation, and he was able to, and yet you had two subs who did not play a single second together in Landry Shamet and Jordan Clarkson. Shamet comes in with 5 minutes to go in the first, plays the last 5 minutes of the first, then goes to the bench to start the second. Start of the second, Jordan Clarkson did not play a minute in the first quarter, and he plays the first fucking 10 minutes of the second quarter. You don't see that a lot. But by doing that, it allows you to play your bench players with your starters and not overtax your starters. It is I will say, a non-traditional rotation substitution pattern, but it's working. And as you say, a bench is a beautiful thing. So, yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Joseph. Adam Bendayan, thank you for the contribution. We appreciate it. Wondering Tumnus, my favorite name in the stack. The season will go as far as our load managing, weak ankled Loch Ness monster takes us. I think you mean Block Ness monster. Mitch has the ability to ruin game plans and dominate anyone. I think if they for them to make the finals, they'd need Mitchell Robinson. I do not think that this team and we said a little bit about this at the end of the watch along. I kind of floated the question, like, what's the best version of this team? Is it Cat at the 5 and a 5 outlook, or is it Mitch at the 5, with the bit more of a defensive backbone? And Benjy wisely responded, it's both. It's both. You need both. And I think you need both. I think you need both guys. And I think Mitch, I really do think you need Mitch. I don't think this team can accomplish their goals without Mitchell Robinson playing a significant role as their roster is currently constructed. So let's hope they keep managing that load as loads should be managed. And onwards we go. Got a smile out of Kevin there. Paul McFarlane, what's going on, Paul? After the third quarter, I was going to say the Knicks only need 1 40-point quarter per game to win, but we got 2. Still undefeated at home, and it's November. Let's fucking go, Knicks. 83 points and a half. 83 points and a half. That's really good. I mean, I think it's their first 80-point half of the year. Like 80 points and a half is a big deal. Like that doesn't happen. And the fact, again, they did it against this Timberwolves team that I know Dante's talking about. We're a sometimes team. We need to be an always team, man. They didn't do this against the fucking Wizards or the Nets or the Pelicans or, one of those shit teams. There's a real team they did this against. And it may have been a team that did not put its best foot forward in the second half, but they did this against a real basketball team. That was, it's crazy to say, number 1 in the league in defense not too long ago. So, all right. One more, last quick break to tell you about our friends from Yule. I love Yule. I'm a big fan of Yule. Yule was a sponsor a while back, and now they're a sponsor again. And I'm really happy they are because Yule is something that just makes a lot of sense with my life. I keep joking to my wife. I'm not someone that ever miss meals because like food is like a religion to me. I love to eat, and yet leave it to me to take over the day-to-day operations of Knicks Film School and start a brand new NBA podcast at the same time. Shout out to NBA Takedown. Anybody who hasn't caught on there, feel free to catch on. But like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, especially from like 10 in the morning until 6, 7 o'clock at night, it's like I don't have a free minute. So for me to be able to go into the fridge and grab, whether it's the black edition, the ready to drink, or, the daily greens, ready to drink can. And all of this stuff is good for you. So you don't have to worry about any issues there. The black edition has 35 grams of protein and it's no added sugar and all the vitamins and minerals you want. And then the daily greens has even more vitamins and minerals. It's only 25 calories, which is great, and 1 gram of sugar. So whichever way you go, it solves the problem for me. And I imagine, again, we have a lot of busy New Yorkers watching the show. It'll solve a lot of problems for you as well. It's just you have a busy schedule. Yule is there to the rescue, and it makes healthy eating simple, which is the best part. So they're in Target stores nationwide, so you can grab it at Target, or you could try both products today and get 15% off for new customers with my exclusive code, KFS. So you go to Yule.com/KFS. Again, that is www.huel.com/KFS. And then use that code KFS and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support your boys at Knicks Film School. There you go. Shout out to you. All right. The home stretch. Here we go. Rich McLeod. Hot damn. What's up, Rich? How you doing, man? It was a fun one tonight. Good to hear from you, brother. Sam Garcia. Best win of the season. Is it the best win of the season? I think it is the best win of the season. I would agree with you, Sam. It's the best win of the season. Sure, why not? Let's go with best win of the season. Jason M., what's going on, Jason? It's such a joy to watch this offense. When a player gets stopped, they just flow into another action. Keeps everyone involved and makes it unpredictable. Yeah, I mean, they're getting it. And players know where they need to be and when they need to be there. And again, it's only 8 games, so the fact that the offense looks as good as it does already is an incredibly encouraging sign. And again, it's all possible because they are getting up the floor fast. And so you give yourself time to get into these multiple actions. Thanks, Jason. Norman G. Norman was very active in the playback chat tonight, so thanks for chiming in here, Norman. At this rate, is OG an all-star? First of all, I don't even know what the freaking rules are going to be because there's still only going to be 24 all-stars, but 8 are going to be international players. Now, that might actually help OG Anunoby, and here's why. You have your 5 automatic international all-stars in SGA, Luka, Wemby, Giannis, and Jokic. Those guys are automatics. So now, if you're an international player, and as a reminder, OG Anunoby is an international player because he hails from Great Britain, you only have 3 spots left. One of those spots is going to be taken by Josh Giddey. And Josh Giddey is international. And he is Australian, right? He's Australian? He's from Australia. He's an Aussie, right, Kev? Pretty sure he's an Aussie. Aussie? He's from somewhere. He has an accent. I don't know where he's. Whatever. Josh Giddey is not from. He's not from like small town USA. Aussie. Yeah, he is Aussie. So now you're down to 2 spots. So who else is OG competing against? Again, assuming that only 8 international players get to make it, which I think is how this works. Embiid's not making it. That's not going to fucking happen. RJ, wouldn't it be funny if an all-star spot came down to RJ Barrett and OG Anunoby? RJ's playing really well. I don't think Dyson Daniels is going to be able to get to that level. Franz will be heard from, although the Magic just seems they just cannot get out of their own way. Pascal Siakam. Now the Pacers are 1-7, but Pascal Siakam is awesome. So Pascal will be heard from. Sorry, I'm trying to do this quick. Senjun. Alperen Senjun. How did I forget Alperen Senjun? He's an automatic also. So now Senjun's auto. I think Giddey will be auto. So now you're talking about 1 spot. So now you're talking about OG versus basically every other international player. Again, if I have the rules right, and I think I do. So you got Gobert, Denny Avdia. Is he going to be heard from? I don't know. Lauri Markkanen's having a great season. The Jazz stink, but Lauri Markkanen's really good. I mentioned Siakam before. Sabonis really good. I'm sure there's probably someone I'm forgetting, but it's going to be really tough. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's going to be an uphill battle because again, it's just this. I mean, the league's it's such a crazy place right now. There's so much fucking talent in the league. It's insane. Thanks, Norman. Huck Frazier, what's going on, Huck? Perimeter 3-point defense is more critical each year. Yes. Only big gap tonight. Possible to dump Kolek and sign Delon Wright. Is Yabu a weight or a complex role issue? So look, we talked about the over helping in the gaps. I think they'll get better at that. I think the offense is ahead of the defense. They've clearly been working on the offense more than the defense. I think the defense will come. The fact that Mitchell Robinson has not played a lot of basketball games, I think, is impactful here. Here's the thing. Like, yeah, they could dump Kolek, they could dump Dadier, like whatever, and they could sign DeLon right off the scrap heap, but I don't. Does DeLon Wright deserve to play over any of the 10 players who got rotation minutes tonight? You know, like you could tell me like Yabusele, but like they don't like. They need a big guy. Like Yabusele is like he gives them some big man minutes right now, and that's important. They have a bunch of guards. Like DeLon Wright should not be playing over Jordan Clarkson or Deuce McBride. Honestly, I don't think he should be playing ahead of Landry Shamet. That may be a controversial take, but like Shamet, like his shooting, even if he's not a great shooter, he's a pretty good one, and that helps. And he defends a little bit. So, and then as far as Yabu, I think it's a conditioning issue. That's all. I think it's a conditioning issue. Thanks, so. Benny Bills 26. What's going on, Benny Bills? Great win by the Knicks, but shout out to Julius for donating to the Monroe School. It shows great character. Glad he isn't my star anymore, but once a Knick, always a Knick. Let's go Knicks. Love Julius. Here, let me show. I still got my poster up. You can see it. I just moved my camera. No paper plate or anything like that. So you can see Julius with his mean mug looking at me, him and RJ. No, Julius is a great Knick. I was kind of having a debate with myself before the game started tonight about whether Julius has an argument to be a top 10 Knick. I think we ultimately decided that no, he's probably not legitimately in the running for top 10. He's absolutely in the conversation for top 15. Ever. That's how big of an impact he had on this franchise. And was it always, forget on the court, like just even off the court, was it always perfect? No, but Julius is a complicated guy, and I think his intentions were always in the right place, and he's a good guy. He's a great guy off the court, and there is a part of me that wants to say, like, it is unfortunate that he's not here anymore. Not to say that look, we'll be talking about that trade for a long time, but it's whether the Knicks are better off or not, and I think they probably are. He was a big part of this team, and I think there's a world where they don't make that trade, and then they're still able to contend for a title. So I don't know, but he's a good dude. It's great to see him donating. Very nice. Thanks, Benny. L-E-U-C? Let's try that. Thanks, L-E-U-C. This is a team full of mortals, not saying it in a negative sense. I can't imagine a successful version of this team if Josh Hart and Deuce don't play up to their potential. Infectious energy. I mean, that's their bench. Those two guys and Clarkson right now. And like they need those guys. Those guys, I think you heard Benji use the word lubricant phrasing earlier tonight in terms of like the impact that I actually forget if he was even talking about Hart or Deuce. He was talking about one of them. I think he was talking about Deuce. But like when Hart is going like this and Hart is right, and right now Josh Hart is right, he's as good as any six man in basketball. And Deuce is right there with him in that conversation. So they need those guys not only to bring energy off the bench, but to play with the starters and to give the starters a different look and a different feel when they're out there. And and fill in some of the gaps. So yeah, I can't imagine a successful version of this team either if those guys are not playing big roles and playing well. So I don't think that's an unfair statement at all, LUC. Thanks for the contribution. Josh Garcia, what's going on, Josh? Josh, unwilling to shoot hard, led the team tonight in makes from 3, 4 or 5, with a finger that needs surgery. How? Pablo Torre needs to find out. Pablo Torre needs to, and I say this with love, Pablo is my friend. Pablo Torre needs to stay the fuck away from the Knicks. I don't need him to find out anything about the Knicks. Go keep finding out more shit about Steve Ballmer and getting sued and Kawhi and trees and all that great stuff. Pablo, stay away. We don't find anything out about the Knicks. We're all found out here. We're good. Thank you. Hush Zoo, our most complete game all season. Was it their most complete game all season? I'm actually not sure if I agree with that because I thought their defense was pretty spotty in the first half. Not bad by any stretch, but their defense was spotty. And honestly, their offense was spotty. Here's the best compliment I give the Knicks. They're 5-3. Let me see if they updated the numbers yet. They're 5-3. They have the 6th best net rating in the league. So it has updated. They have the 4th best offense in the league, trailing only Houston, Denver, and Philly. They are now knocking on the door of a top 10 defense. Well, it's 13th, but whatever. I do not think that they have played a complete game yet this season. I really don't. I don't think they played a complete game. I'm not even sure which game I would say is like the most complete game. Sure, this game has an argument, but I think the Knicks have played a pretty decent schedule, and the fact that they have not played what I would call a complete game yet, and they're 5-3 with the 6th best net rating in the league, I think it's a pretty good sign. Anyway, dare I say, very comparable to the 24 Celtics. Glad to see Josh is back confident. Well deserved 3 days off. Let's go Knicks. There's some comps. The big difference, the Celtics were able to put 5 shooters on the floor and have 0 defensive weak spots. The Knicks, unfortunately, pretty much always have a defensive weak spot on the floor. You know, but in spirit, they are not terribly dissimilar in terms of how many threes they put up and how much they move the ball and how many different actions they could get into on the same possession. Like, yeah, they're in spirit, they're similar. Thanks, Hush. Hush Zoo, pay Mitch. Let's go Knicks. Don't worry. Mitch is going to get... If Mitch stays healthy and Mitch plays well, Mitch is going to get paid by the Knicks. I'll tell you that right now. Thanks, Hush. Parrish, Duggar. My goodness. Parrish, he returns. The prodigal Duggar. Never thought we'd see him again. No complaints now because all my grievances walked out the door in June. And thanks for fixing franchise, sir. Question: can Clarkson be this year's Dante? Can Clarkson be this year's Dante? I cannot say yes to that question just because Dante DiVincenzo meant so much to me as a fan, and the impact that guy had on winning and just playing so many minutes and doing so much for this team and being such a rock. Such a rock. As solid as you could imagine. For someone to get into that sort of territory for me, and Jordan Clarkson's a really nice offensive player, and I thought he had a good defensive game tonight. I can't go there yet. I can't. Is there a chance he gets there? Sure, but I can't go there yet. I can't go there. Thanks, Parrish. Danishevsky. What's going on, Kev? Knicks history question. You're going to do this to me at what the fuck time is it? 11:49 p.m.? No. Could they have won a title with Julius, and how? Yeah, I think they could have won the title with Julius. I mean, look at the January 24 team. You know, um, the could they have won a title with Julius and making the McCall trade in the way they made the McCall trade with no Hartenstein? It's just it comes back to the same shit, Kev. Where are they getting a center? Who's the center? How are they getting a center? What are they giving up for the center? How much does the center make? What salary do they need to send out to get that center? Walker Kessler's a guy they flirted with for 2 years now, and he's not going to play any more basketball games this year because he just had shoulder surgery. You know, I don't. I mean, my inclination is to say yes, but when you ask me and how, I do not have the wherewithal right now to sit here and tell you the and how. My gut tells me the answer is yes, but they needed that. Where are they getting a center again? Where are they getting a good enough, commensurate, honest to goodness NBA center who does not, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but have the health issues that Mitchell Robinson has and is unable to play basketball to the extent that they would need Mitch to play or a center to play to be a full-time center. Thanks, Kev. Ah, man. Harry Donut, very much appreciated. Another long time KFS supporter. Appreciate you, Harry. Thank you so much, really. And Bill Peter friend, what's going on, Bill? Sloppy. Kidding, Mac. 83 in the second half. This is a game that allows fans to dream. It's a good place for us to end. Every fan can and should be dreaming a sweet dream tonight after watching this game. Let me say it very clearly. There is nothing this basketball team cannot do. And I mean, and that goes for both sides of the ball. It is most obvious on offense right now. I think it is as true on defense when you look at their personnel and when you look at what even some of their weaker defensive personnel, what they are capable of doing at times. And ultimately, defense comes down to effort, and they could put a lot of really good defenders at the floor and on the floor at the same time, and they could all try very hard. Again, there is nothing this team cannot do. They have the talent. They have the skill. I think you're seeing how well the skills work together in unison, how much those skills lift each other up and make each other capable of being better than they are individually, which is the opposite of last year. And then on top of all that, they have Jalen Brunson, who, again, this team took Minnesota behind the woodshed tonight, and Jalen Brunson didn't even have to do anything. They are capable of doing anything they set out to do. It is a matter of maximizing that potential, staying with it, continuing to buy in. Things are great right now. It's easy to buy in when things are great. Does the buy-in continue through the ups and the downs? Early indications are they have the character, they have the culture, they have the locker room. If that all continues, if that's all real, then we're going to be having some really fun conversations about this team into April, into May, and into June. That's where this could be headed. Absolutely. And on a night like tonight, there's no reason anybody should think that it can't be headed there. So, good stuff, Bill. And good stuff, everybody. It's amazing. It is almost midnight. We got almost 24 people. 24. I would love it if 24 people watching me. We have almost 2,400 people watching right now. Couple of last final reminders before we get out of here. Again, check out the pinned tweet to fill out that survey to help us out and be entered for a chance to win $100 in FanCash. Again, it's like 5-10 minutes to fill out the survey. Finish the survey, you'll be entered to win $100 in FanCash. Something I did not plug and I should have plugged earlier. Our first watch party of the year is coming up next Friday, November 14th at Slattery's Pub in Midtown, New York. That is Knicks Heat. There will be giveaways at that watch party. Your Knicks Film School friends and family will be at that watch party. Again, it's at Slattery's. It is next Friday, November 14th. Shout out to them. Shout out to all the folks who support us in all the different ways. And if you would like to become one of those folks, please consider following us on social media at Knicks Film School, SKOOL, on all of your social media outlets. Consider becoming a patron to Knicks Film School, subscribing to the Substack, leaving us a nice review, giving us a 5-star rating, and then, just the most basic stuff. Subscribe to the pod, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube, put on the notifications. There are so many ways that we are supported and loved by our community. We appreciate all of it. And if you're someone who wants to get in on that action, there's a ton of ways you could do it, and you don't have to spend a dime. So whatever you could do, please do. We appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you. I appreciate Kev for producing tonight. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Benji, for the extended intro. And I will see everybody on Sunday after the game. You'll see me before that. 90 some odd % sure I'm doing a live stream with someone I'm very excited to talk to tomorrow morning or tomorrow early afternoon. So stay tuned for that. Again, subscribe to the YouTube and turn on notifications, turn on alerts. So when we go live, we go live. Again, tomorrow at noon, pretty sure I got something cooking for that. But anyway, talk to everybody soon. Have a great rest of your week, and peace out.
Must be 21 or over? Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app.